Rabbit and Coraline or Corpse Bride, and just pay attention to how their reactions to things they see in movies change. Curse of the Were Rabbit is of course a tale in the Wallace and Gromit universe, which was created by Aardman people behind such films as Chicken Run or Shaun the Sheep. So Wallace the inventor and his loyal dog Gromit both operate a business called Antipesto, and their specialty is getting rid of rabbits, but in a humane way. They don't shoot rabbits, they don't poison rabbits. In fact, they suck them through a tube and then try to transport them back to their house, where they can live in pens and eat carrots all day. But it just so happens that there's a giant were rabbit on the loose at night eating everyone's vegetables, which is a terrible thing, because there's a giant vegetable contest looming on the horizon. So all the villagers are very scared, and they're turning to Wallace and Gromit for help. The thing that I love about Wallace and Gromit, besides the aesthetic choice of stop-motion animation and how charming these characters are, is that the relationship of man and dog is flipped. Yes, Gromit doesn't speak, and yeah, Wallace is the human, but Gromit does all the work. Gromit makes the breakfasts. Gromit rolls his eyes at all the stupid Wallace does throughout the whole movie. In every way, Wallace is the dog and Gromit is the person. He's constantly cleaning up after Wallace's messes. It's a really brilliant switch, and that's why these characters are so unique, and I think it's why they work so well. But there's also this infectious charm to these characters, is where their outlook on life makes you want to look at life the same way they do. What's also great about this movie is that it begins as a hunt for a creature that seems to be ruining everyone's vegetable patches, but it changes along the way and it becomes something else. If you haven't seen the film, I'm gonna get into one spoiler element here. It happens at about the midpoint, so that's my warning. I do strongly recommend it if you like movies like this, and with that warning out of the way, I'm going to say that the Were Rabbit is in fact Wallace. It's not just some random rabbit that was turned into a giant creature. Wallace himself is going out in the fields in the middle of the night and eating everyone's vegetables. This creates a big problem because he has a massive crush on Helena, Bonham Carter's character, and at night he turns into a giant rabbit. That's not gonna do him any favors in the relationship, if you know what I mean. And of course Gromit realizes this before Wallace does, and so now he's on a mission to try to save Wallace from humiliating himself, and also let him know that, hey man, you're turning into a giant rabbit. We need to figure this out. With most films that I watch, I generally can figure out how they were made. I can picture the people making the movie, and I understand the effort in general that went into it. When I watch a film like this, it gives me cold sweats. I read in the IMDb trivia that they on average achieved about 3 seconds of usable footage per workday, and that it took them about 5 years to make this movie. That's a level of dedication to this craft that I cannot praise more. I honestly could never imagine making a stop-motion animated film. The amount of effort that goes into it, the fact that you can actually see the fingerprint indentations on these characters shows you just how handcrafted this movie was. Nowadays, something like that might be perceived as an imperfection, something for CGI to clean up. I love that that's in this movie. It literally is a fingerprint of the artists who spent so much time working on this film. If you have kids or you just want to watch Wallace and Gromit: The Curse of the Were Rabbit that out, or watch it on streaming, I hope you guys enjoy it as much as I did. Thank